Shemot, ideas in the realm of Gematria from the Parsha and for the Geulah, which means for the redemption. Geulah means redemption in Hebrew. And this is Article 13 because the Parsha of Shemot is the 13th Torah portion in the cycle of Torah readings. This week's Parsha, this week's Torah portion starts the book of Shemot, the book of Exodus. And the first Parsha is, of course, Shemot. This Parsha and the next 5 weeks after this, and some include the next 7 weeks, are referred to as the Shovavim period of time on the Jewish calendar. Shovavim is an acronym for the 6 Parshas, which are Shemot, Ve'era, Bo, Bishalach, Yitro, Mishpatim, and some include the 2 following Parshas, which are Teruma and Tetzaveh, and they call it Shovavim Tat. It is a time for personal reflection and introspection, and to make rectifications for specific shortcomings and general improvements. It is interesting to note that the Shovavim starts out each year on the Jewish calendar in Tevet around the time of the secular New Year, January, where it is common to make New Year's resolutions, which is a similar idea, personal improvement. It's interesting that the 2 times, both on the Jewish calendar and on the secular calendar, they coincide. To make substantial and lasting improvements, it can be helpful to realize that wherever we are at in life should be appreciated and not to be disparaged if in fact improvements need to be made, but rather the moment we make the decision to improve, then the ground we are standing on is holy ground. This expression can be taken literally. The expression of the ground one is standing on is holy ground. This expression can be taken literally from a verse in our weekly Torah portion, in the very famous passage of the burning bush, when Moses, our teacher of blessed memory, encounters God speaking from the burning bush. And the famous words are said when Hashem, God, says to Moshe, Shal na'alecha me'al raglecha, ki hamakom asher ata omed alav admat kodesh hu. Take your shoes off your feet, because the place on which you stand is holy ground, or holy soil. Exodus chapter 3, verse 5. And as Moshe approached Hashem, he was told to remove his shoes, for he was standing on a holy ground. Indeed, whenever we seek to approach, to draw near to Hashem, either by adding good or eliminating bad, in whichever way we're improving ourselves, we must recognize that by this decision alone and desire, we are in fact standing on holy ground, and new beginnings are always available. In Gematria, the words in the verse for holy ground are Admat Kodesh, and have a numerical value of 861. And in fact, the term for the holy temple that stood in Jerusalem is Beit HaMikdash, and in fact has a numerical value of exactly 861. This can bring to mind the idea of new beginnings and a new year. In fact, the words Rosh Hashanah, which means New Year, have a numerical value of no less and no more than, you guessed it, 861. Speaking of New Year's, in the beginning of the Hebrew New Year, after the high holidays, we start reading the Torah portion of Bereshit, which can remind us of new beginnings and the beginning of creation. In Gematria, the word Bereshit, the word for Genesis, or in the beginning, has a numerical value of 913. And in fact, the phrase, Shal na'alecha mi'al raglecha, the words that God said to Moses, take the shoes off your feet, have a numerical value of 913. Let's take off the shoes from our feet, for where we are standing is holy ground indeed. Shabbat Shalom. Have a great Shabbos.